I'm standing in my kitchen right now, staring at 3 cardboard boxes on my marble counter, and I can still hear the silence that filled this house exactly 1 hour ago. The kind of silence that comes after something breaks. Not glass, not china, something deeper. Before I tell you what I put inside those boxes, I need you to do something for me. Leave a comment and tell me where you're listening from. Because what I'm about to share isn't just my story, it's a warning. And I need to know it's reaching people who might be walking into the same trap I almost fell into. My name is Margaret Holloway. I'm 62 years old, and I live in Bellevue, Washington, in a house my late husband Daniel and I bought 30 years ago. Daniel passed 4 years ago. Heart attack, sudden, the kind that doesn't give you time to say goodbye. He left me comfortable. Very comfortable. We'd built a software consulting firm together in the 90s, sold it in 2008 right before everything crashed. Smart timing, lucky timing. The kind of timing that turns a middle-class life into something else entirely. I have 3 children. Michael, 38, works in finance in Seattle. Jennifer, 35, married to a real estate developer named Brandon. And Sarah, 32, who moved to Portland for what she calls her wellness business. After Daniel died, I thought we'd grow closer. That's what you imagine, isn't it? That loss brings family together. It did. Just not the way I expected. Last Mother's Day started like any other Sunday. I woke up at 6, made coffee, sat in the breakfast nook where Daniel and I used to read the paper together. I still set out 2 cups. Force of habit. The doorbell rang at 10. All 3 of them came. Michael, Jennifer with Brandon, Sarah with her new boyfriend Trevor. They were laughing, carrying gift bags, the whole performance. I felt grateful. I felt loved. I felt like despite everything, I'd done something right as a mother. Michael handed me his bag first. "Happy Mother's Day, Mom." Inside was a set of kitchen towels, the kind you buy at discount stores in plastic wrap. Price tag still on. $12. Jennifer went next. "We thought you'd love this." A generic scented candle. The label said, "Ocean Breeze." It smelled like chemicals and sadness. $14 at the drugstore, according to the sticker she'd forgotten to remove. Sarah presented hers with a flourish, a coffee mug that said, "World's okayest mom." She thought it was funny. $10, still tagged. $36 total. From 3 grown children whose trust funds I'd managed, whose college educations I'd paid for in full, whose down payments I'd helped with, whose business ventures I'd seeded with my own money. They stayed for lunch, ate the meal I'd spent 2 days preparing, drank the wine from Daniel's collection, the bottles he'd been saving, the ones that cost more than their combined gifts. And as they left, I heard it. Jennifer's voice from the driveway thinking I was inside. God, she's so easy to please. Literally anything works. Michael's laugh. I grabbed mine at the gas station on the way over. Sarah's voice, sharp with something I couldn't quite name. She doesn't need anything anyway. Look at this house. I stood behind my curtains and watched them drive away, and something shifted inside me. Not anger. Not yet. Something colder, something that wanted to understand. My friend Patricia called that evening. We'd been meeting for coffee every Tuesday for 15 years. I told her everything. "Margaret, you need to say something. That's disrespectful." "They're busy," I said. "They have their own lives." "Busy enough to cash your checks, though, aren't they?" I didn't answer, but Patricia's words stayed with me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I got up at 2 in the morning and did something I'd never done before. I went into my office and opened my financial records. Daniel had always handled our personal accounts, but the business finances, those I knew inside and out. After he died, I'd taken over everything. I kept meticulous records. I'm talking spreadsheets that would make an accountant weep with joy. Every gift, every loan, every emergency that required money. Michael. $127,000 over the past 4 years. Business startup costs, car repairs, his daughter's private school tuition because public schools just aren't cutting it, Mom. Jennifer, 215, $0 down payment assistance, Brandon's failed restaurant venture. Their vacation home in Scottsdale that they'd promised would practically pay for itself with rental income. Sarah, 89, $0, wellness retreat investments, legal fees for some licensing issue, living expenses during her transition period that had now lasted 3 years, $431,000, not loans, gifts. Because every time I'd suggested paperwork, payment plans, they'd looked at me with hurt in their eyes. Don't you trust us, Mom? It's family, not business. Dad would have understood. I sat in that office until sunrise, and slowly, like pieces of ice forming on a window, a picture began to emerge. I started paying attention, really paying attention, and once you start seeing, you can't stop. June, Michael called. Needed to know about my investment portfolio. Just curious, Mom. Want to make sure you're being smart with your money. He'd never asked about my finances before. July. Jennifer stopped by with Brandon. They walked through the house like they were measuring it. Brandon commented on the property value. This area's really appreciated. You're sitting on a gold mine. Jennifer asked if I'd updated my will recently. August. Sarah started talking about my health, how I seemed tired, how maybe I should consider simplifying my life. This house is so much work, Mom. What if you fell? What if something happened and nobody found you for days? September. All 3 of them began calling more often, but not to chat, to check in, to make sure I was okay, to ask if I needed help with anything, bills, paperwork, legal documents. I'm 62, not 90. I run 3 miles every morning. My last physical showed blood pressure that made my doctor jealous. But the way they talked to me, you'd think I had one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. October brought the first real alarm. I was at my bank, dealing with some account transfers, when my banker, Thomas, I'd known him for 20 years, pulled me aside. Margaret, I probably shouldn't say this, but someone called last week asking about your accounts. They claimed to be your attorney, wanted to know about your holdings, your beneficiaries. I don't have an attorney right now, I said. Daniel's lawyer retired, and I haven't needed to replace him. Thomas looked uncomfortable. They knew enough details to sound legitimate. They knew your full name, your account types. We didn't give them anything, of course, but I thought you should know. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Did they leave a name? Brandon Hutchins, Jennifer's husband. My son-in-law who sold real estate and apparently made phone calls pretending to be an attorney. I drove home carefully, very carefully, because my hands were shaking. That night, I did something that would have horrified the old Margaret. I installed a recording app on my phone, and I started keeping a journal. Not of my thoughts, of facts, dates, conversations, evidence, November, Thanksgiving. They all came again. But this time, I watched differently. I watched Michael photograph my china cabinet, my jewelry case, the paintings Daniel and I had collected. I watched Jennifer and Brandon have a whispered conversation in my study, near the filing cabinet where I kept my important documents. I watched Sarah slip something into my purse while I was in the kitchen. Later, I found it, a pill bottle, prescription sleeping medication. Not mine, her name on the label. Why would she put her sleeping pills in my purse? I called Patricia. I think something's wrong. What kind of wrong? The kind where I need to talk to a lawyer, quietly. She gave me a name, Robert Chen. A state attorney specialized in elder law. I met with him the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. I laid it all out. The money, the questions, the phone call to my bank, the pills in my purse. Robert listened without interrupting. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. Mrs. Holloway, I need to ask you something direct. Do you believe your children would harm you? I thought about that, really thought about it. I don't think they'd push me down the stairs, but I think they might help me take too many pills and call it an accident. I think they might look the other way if I fell and didn't call for help right away. I think they've stopped seeing me as their mother and started seeing me as an inheritance that's taking too long to collect. Then we need to protect you, legally and physically. Over the next 3 weeks, Robert helped me do several things. We created a new trust with independent management. We changed my beneficiaries to include specific charities and conditions. We documented everything I'd told him. And we did one more thing. We hired a private investigator. His name was Marcus Reeves, former FBI, now running his own firm. Robert vouched for him personally. I don't usually take these cases, Marcus told me at our first meeting. But Robert says you're in danger, and after looking at the preliminary information, I agree. What you're describing fits a pattern. What pattern? Financial elder abuse leading to potential harm. Your children have spent 4 years conditioning you to be their personal ATM. Now they're frustrated that the well hasn't run dry. People in their position typically do one of 3 things: accept it and move on, increase pressure to get more before it's gone, or expedite the inheritance. Expedite. Make sure you die sooner rather than later. Hearing it said out loud made it real in a way it hadn't been before. Marcus installed security cameras in my house. Discreet ones. In the living room, kitchen, hallways. He set up monitoring on my phone, computer. He ran background checks on all 3 of my children and their partners. What he found made my blood run cold. Brandon, Jennifer's husband, had been sued twice for fraud. He'd avoided conviction both times, but the pattern was clear. He'd take money from investors, promise returns, and disappear the funds into complicated LLC structures. Trevor, Sarah's boyfriend, had a record: identity theft, credit card fraud, served 8 months 3 years ago. Michael's business, the one I'd given him startup money for, had never filed taxes, didn't exist on paper. The $127 EU dollars had gone into personal accounts and disappeared. They're grifters, Marcus said bluntly. All of them, to varying degrees. And they've targeted you. December hit like a freight train. Michael called. Could he borrow another $50,000? Investment opportunity, Mom. Time sensitive. When I said no, he got angry. Actually angry. Raised his voice, told me I was being selfish. Jennifer showed up unannounced with papers. Just some documents to make managing your estate easier, Mom. Sign here, here, and here. I pretended to read them. Said I'd have my attorney look at them first. She got very quiet. Very cold. You don't trust your own daughter? Sarah started texting me articles about elderly people who died alone, who got confused and took the wrong medications, who fell and weren't found for days. Just thinking about you, Mom. We should talk about in-home care. I was 62, not 80, not sick, not confused, but they were building a narrative. And then came December 15th. I woke up at 3 a.m. to sounds downstairs. Footsteps, quiet voices. I grabbed my phone, the one Marcus had set up, and texted the code word we'd established. Then I got out of bed, put on my robe, and did something that surprised even me. I walked downstairs. The lights were off, but I could see shapes in my study. 2 people, going through my filing cabinet with flashlights. I flipped the lights on. Jennifer and Brandon froze, literally froze, files in their hands, like children caught stealing cookies. Mom! Jennifer's voice was too bright. We didn't want to wake you. We just needed to find some old family photos and thought, at 3 in the morning, in my financial files? Brandon set down the folders slowly. Margaret, you're confused. We're worried about you. Maybe you should go back to bed. I'm not confused, and you're not looking for photos. That's when Sarah appeared from the direction of the kitchen. She had something in her hand, a glass of water. Here, Mom, you look upset. Take this. It'll help you sleep. I looked at that glass, at the way she held it, at the small white residue at the bottom that hadn't quite dissolved. What did you put in it? Nothing. God, Mom, you're being paranoid. Then drink it yourself. Silence, the kind that screams. Michael's voice came from behind me. I hadn't heard him come in. "Mom, we need to talk about your health, your mental state. We've been documenting concerning behavior. We think it's time to discuss power of attorney for your own safety." I was surrounded, in my own house, by my own children, and I understood with perfect clarity that this was the moment they'd been building toward. Get me confused, medicated, declared incompetent. Take control of everything. Get out. Mom, get out of my house. That's when the front door opened. Marcus walked in, followed by 2 police officers. Behind them, Patricia and Robert Chen. I'd texted the code word. Marcus had been parked 3 houses down for the past week, watching, waiting. The police had been on standby. The expressions on my children's faces, I'll never forget them. Jennifer went white. Brandon looked like he might run. Sarah dropped the glass. It shattered on my hardwood floor, and I watched the liquid spread. Evidence. Michael tried to bluster. "This is ridiculous. We're her children. We have every right." "You have the right to remain silent," one officer said, "and I suggest you use it." They found the pills in Sarah's purse, prescription sedatives, enough to kill someone my size. They found the documents Jennifer had wanted me to sign, power of attorney, yes, but also a new will that left everything to the 3 of them, drafted by Brandon using a forged attorney seal. They found texts between Michael and Trevor discussing how much my estate was worth and how to speed things along. They'd planned it, all of it. Get me medicated, make me seem incompetent, file for emergency guardianship, take control of my assets. And if I died during that process, accidentally took too many pills, fell down the stairs, had some unfortunate incident, well, they'd be right there to inherit everything. The police arrested all 5 of them that night. My 3 children, Brandon, Trevor, conspiracy to commit fraud, attempted elder abuse. In Sarah's case, because of the pills, conspiracy to commit murder. I sat in my living room surrounded by police, investigators, my lawyer, and my friend, and I felt nothing. Just a vast, echoing emptiness where my family used to be. The trial happened fast. Marcus's evidence was airtight. The security footage, the recordings, the financial documentation, the pills, the forged documents, the text messages that spelled out their plan in their own words. Michael pleaded guilty, got 3 years and restitution orders. His business was exposed as a front, and federal tax charges followed. Jennifer and Brandon fought it, lost, 5 years each. Brandon's real estate license was permanently revoked, and he faced additional fraud charges from previous victims who came forward during the investigation. Sarah got 7 years. The pills pushed it into attempted murder territory. Trevor got 4. My children, my babies. I'd carried them, raised them, loved them. And they'd looked at me and seen a bank account with a beating heart. The house felt too big after that, too empty. But I didn't sell it. I didn't downsize. I didn't do any of the things they'd wanted me to do. Instead, I did something different. That brings me to this year, to this Mother's Day, to those 3 boxes on my counter. I visited them, all 3 of them. Prison visits are different from what you see on TV, more depressing, more real. I brought them each a gift. Early Mother's Day presents, I said, since we can't be together on the actual day. Michael opened his first. Inside the box was every check I'd ever written him. Photocopies, enlarged, mounted on poster board. $127,000 worth of canceled checks. And underneath, a calculator. In case you want to add it up, I said. In case you've forgotten what you took. Jennifer's box contained the house listings Brandon had printed. The ones I'd found in their car that Thanksgiving when I'd pretended to get my sweater. Each one marked with my address, estimated value, potential profit margin, and a note. The house is worth more now. Just so you know what you're missing. Sarah's box had her pill bottles, empty ones, collected from her purse, her car, her apartment during the investigation, arranged in a pyramid, and a photo of me from that night, standing in my robe, surrounded by police, still alive, still standing. Just a reminder, I told her, that whatever you gave me didn't work. Their faces, God, their faces. Michael went gray. Jennifer started crying. Sarah just stared. Last Mother's Day, you gave me $36 worth of gifts and thought it was enough. Thought I wouldn't notice. Thought I wouldn't care. You were wrong. I noticed everything. I cared about everything. And I returned the favor, not with cheap candles or gas station towels, with the truth, with consequences, with the gift of understanding exactly what you threw away. I stood up to leave. The guard was already moving toward us, visiting time almost over. You wanted my money, my house, my death. Instead, you got prison time, criminal records, and each other. I hope it was worth it. I walked out. I didn't look back. Patricia was waiting in the parking lot. How do you feel? Empty, I said, but lighter. We drove to a garden center. I bought flowers, bright ones, alive ones, flowers that would bloom. Then we went to Daniel's grave. I planted them there in the spring sunshine, and I talked to him. I hope you're not disappointed in me for what I did to them. But I also hope you see that I didn't have a choice. I couldn't let them destroy me the way they tried to. I couldn't die for their convenience. The wind moved through the trees. It almost sounded like an answer. Here's what I learned and why I needed you to comment, to tell me where you're listening from. Because this isn't just happening to me. It's happening everywhere. Adult children who see their aging parents as obstacles rather than people. Who've done the math on inheritance and decided it's taking too long. Who've been taught by a culture that worships youth and money, that older people are disposable. I learned that love and biology aren't the same thing. That giving birth to someone doesn't guarantee they'll value you. That sacrifice isn't currency. You can't spend what you've done for your children and expect it to come back to you. I learned that protecting yourself isn't betrayal. That documentation isn't paranoia. That trusting your instincts when something feels wrong can save your life. I learned that elder abuse doesn't look like bruises and broken bones. Not always. Sometimes it looks like pushy questions about your finances, like suggestions that you're not as sharp as you used to be, like family members who suddenly care very much about your will. I learned that you can grieve people who are still alive, that the children I raised died somewhere along the way, replaced by strangers who wore their faces and knew how to say, "I love you, Mom," while planning my demise. And I learned that starting over at 62 is terrifying and possible and necessary. I sold the house last month, not because they wanted me to, because I wanted to, because every room held memories that had curdled. I bought a condo downtown, smaller, modern, mine in a way that house never was again after that December night. I volunteer now at a senior advocacy center. I talk to older people about financial abuse, about the warning signs, about protecting themselves even when it means protecting themselves from their own families. The stories I hear break my heart, but they also make me angry. And anger, I've discovered, is useful. It motivates. It mobilizes. I've started a foundation with some of Daniel's money, the money my children wanted so badly. It funds legal help for elderly people facing financial exploitation. It's called the $36 Foundation, because that's what they thought I was worth. That's what they thought would keep me quiet and grateful. Jennifer writes me letters from prison, long ones, apologizing, explaining, begging for forgiveness. I don't answer them. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I'll have something to say beyond, "You tried to kill me." But that day hasn't come yet. Michael hasn't written at all. I hear through Patricia, who still knows his ex-wife, that he's angry, feels betrayed, thinks I set him up. The cognitive dissonance is almost impressive. Sarah writes poetry, bad poetry, about mothers who don't understand, about children who are misunderstood, about systems that punish the innocent. She sends them to me with drawings in the margins, like she's 10 years old again, trying to get my attention. Except she's not 10, she's 33, and she put poison in a glass and handed it to me with a smile. Do I forgive them? People ask me that. Patricia asks me that. My therapist, yes, I see a therapist now, asks me that. I don't know. Forgiveness feels like it should mean something, like it should cost something. And I don't know if I'm willing to pay that price. Maybe forgiveness isn't something you decide. Maybe it's something that happens to you, slowly, like healing. Or maybe it doesn't happen at all. Maybe some betrayals are too big to forgive, and pretending otherwise is just another form of self-destruction. What I do know is this: I survived. They tried to erase me, to expedite me out of existence, and I survived. I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm building something new from the rubble of what I thought my life was. And every Mother's Day from now on, I'll remember. Not the breakfast in bed and handmade cards from when they were little. Not the sweet moments that memory wants to preserve. But the truth. The $36 truth. The pills in the glass truth. The "we love you mom now sign here" truth. I'll remember, so I never forget that survival sometimes means cutting away the parts of your life you thought were essential. That love doesn't obligate you to die for someone's convenience. That your life, your actual, beating heart, breathing lungs life, matters more than anyone's inheritance. If you're listening to this and something resonates, if you have adult children who are suddenly very interested in your finances, if family members keep suggesting you're not as capable as you used to be, if someone is pushing you to sign documents you don't understand, if you feel pressure to make things easier on your family by giving them control, listen to your instincts, document everything, get a lawyer, tell someone outside the family what's happening, protect yourself, even if it means protecting yourself from the people you love most. Because the alternative is being erased, is becoming an inconvenience to be managed, is ending up medicated, confused, controlled, or dead while people who share your blood divide up your assets and tell themselves they deserved it. I'm 62. According to the actuarial tables, I've got another 25 years, maybe more. I plan to live every single one of them, loudly, actively, making damn sure that my worth is never again measured in discount store gift bags. This Mother's Day, I'm taking Patricia to brunch. Expensive brunch. The kind with champagne and too many courses. We're going to toast to survival, to friendship that doesn't come with price tags, to being difficult and defensive and protective of our own lives. And then I'm going to come home to my new condo, pour a glass of Daniel's wine, the good stuff, from the collection I kept, and I'm going to sit on my balcony and watch the sun set over Seattle, alone, safe, alive, worth more than $36, worth everything.